Women who gave nice guys a chance, how did it work out? He seemed a bit shy but goofy, smart and genuinely kind when he approached me, so I agreed to go out and we hit it off at first. Deep, meaningful conversation about our personal challenges, him quickly meeting my friends and me being the first person he called after a family emergency. We were both pretty vulnerable, but things were seemingly progressing somewhat well. One day he was on Tinder in bed next to me, and when called on it, he said that dating me had made him realize that he needed more confidence and experience with women. And thus needed to date a lot more different people, but that he only ducked the others at their houses, so I was obviously his number one. I freaked, cried and broke things off. He called me the next day to casually ask me out to the new Hunger Games movie. I got an STD screening the next week. He harassed me at work for another 6 months. That's next level nice. Some would even say he's a great guy. Yeah, a great pile of crap. This made me spit my coffee out, thanks. Oh yes, the shy goofy nerdy type who begs for a single woman to give him a chance, and then you do, and he gets to thinking you've woken some sleeping giant Casanova and he simply can't limit himself anymore. LMAO, Taylor's old as time. He'll be back, they always are, laugh in his face. Holy shirt, is this really a thing? My shy goofy nerdy type hadn't been on a date in 4 years before I fell for him. We dated for 3 years, with him occasionally bringing up the prospect of marriage and a future together. Out of the blue, seriously, no fights or anything, he dumped me one day and told me he'd never loved me and never will. Then he said he was going to duck some internet whore to show me our relationship was truly over. He tried 4 times, and none of the girls went for it. Am I evil for laughing at that? You've just described my ex to a T, and after rubbing my face in his latest conquest, and me finally dumping him, he now keeps sending me messages, finds new ways, as I've blocked him where I can. And he keeps asking if there is any chance of reconciliation. Yeah, right buddy, go reconcile yourself with a rusty broomstick. All the guys I have known or dated that felt it necessary to label themselves nice guys turned out to be absolutely awful humans. Either they had a bad temper, horrible morals, or just didn't want to take no for an answer. One even turned out to be an emotionally abusive alcoholic. The actual nicest guys I've dated or called friends were the ones who didn't feel the need to label themselves nice guy. In fact, the best of them usually warned me and others that they were not all that nice, but always turned out to be the sweetest, most understanding, appreciative and kind guys I've had the pleasure of knowing. The people who are worried about being not nice are usually the ones most conscious of how they're acting. That is true and a great way to look at it. I always found it kind of ironic. I'm not really all that nice, followed by, are you okay? How are you feeling? Can I do anything to help? Or just dropping everything to come save the day for whatever minor or major tragedy had befallen me or another woman. Some of these were self-proclaimed bad boys, and people still wonder why some of us swoon over that bad boy type. When I had my first ocular migraine, I was at my desk at work in the Loop, downtown, in Chicago, and basically started tripping balls out of nowhere. My boss called my husband, who was at his grad school a couple of miles away, and my husband literally ran to me. He said he checked Google Maps and realized that traffic would make public transit take a while, and he has these gorgeous, tree-like muscular legs. As if he's descended from warriors who were designed to charge uphill swinging battle axes or something, and he got to me crazy fast. Then he bundled me into a cab and brought me to my doctor, who had been called and was waiting for me. It was the sexiest thing during one of the scariest hours of my life, and, similarly, when I later thanked him for dropping everything to run to my rescue, he was like, well, yeah. Of course, you're my cheesy nickname. Had a nice guy on Tinder who didn't make it to date for the following reason. He lived in a different city so he insisted on an all-day date, lives about 50 minutes away. I said I'm not comfortable subscribing to 8+ hours with someone I hadn't met yet, but he kept insisting I had to make it worth his while to come through. At this point I said I can't see it going anywhere and it was putting me under pressure, and that made me feel a little uncomfortable. That realistically, it may not work out, so let's just leave it. So then he says he's gonna book a hotel and come through. Explained that's sweet, but it's making me uncomfortable. So he says I can have the bed and he'll be a gentleman and have the sofa. I explained that he seems to have the wrong idea. I'm not going to a hotel with him and I feel uncomfortable. I don't want to meet. He continues to press, saying he is a nice guy. He won't make me have sex if I don't want to. I say I don't want to. I don't want to go to a hotel. I don't want to meet. It's too much pressure. And for someone I've not met, I feel uneasy. Thanks. Good luck with your search. But apparently I need to give him a chance. He's willing to come all this way. I say no. He keeps finding new things to message me. Uses my phone number to add my Snapchat and says he can see what street I'm on. At this point I start feeling very uneasy. I didn't know I had location on. I block him. He messaged on something else, so I say I've got back with my ex. I see my ex a lot. We are good friends. He's happy to have a word, so he starts going on about my ex had his chance and blew it. He is a much nicer guy than my ex. He will treat me like a princess and worship me, and my ex has blown it, etc. I tell him this is my choice. Thanks and goodbye. Please don't try to message me on anything else as it's not appropriate and I've already blocked on 3 things. Fast forward 4 months and I move cities. I get an Instagram message. It's the nice guy saying he's seen me on Bumble in this new city, and even though we haven't matched it must not have worked out with my ex. He's using Instagram and can see I'm near the station. Is that even a thing? And we should go on that date that I owe him. Blocked again. Had a friend stay over that night. He won't make me have sex if I don't want to. So kind of him to offer to not rape you in a hotel you don't want to be at in the first place. Face with rolling eyes. I know, what a catch. He thought that was really nice of him too, and he couldn't work out why that made me uncomfortable, and why I was outright refusing to meet. The date you owed him? What the duck? I hope this has happened a while ago and you haven't heard from him since then. Living alone as a woman can be terrifying. Holy shit. Yeah, I was taken back by that. Happened this year. Insta message was in August. An all-day date or hotel for only a 50-minute drive? LMAO. Maybe it's because I live way out in the country, but a 20 to 30 minute drive is standard to get to anywhere I want to go to. The closest mall is 45 minutes away. How did he expect a relationship to work out with you if a less than 1 hour drive warranted an overnight stay? Yikes. Yep, hilarious. When my now husband and I started dating, he lived over an hour away from me on a good day, because he lived in a beachfront town. That could easily become 2 to 3 hours on a summer weekend. Did that stop him from driving there and back to meet me for dates? No. Because when a normal person is interested in a person, they make accommodations, and perhaps even inconvenience themselves a bit to get to know that person better. Went on and on about what a great compassionate guy he was. He was actually just your garden variety abusive psycho. He once said to me, I wish you had been abused so you would realize how great I am. What the duck? Who says that? Hahaha, literally saying, I wish your standards were lower so I would look better to you. Lol. Bro, no. I also have a guy who didn't make it to a date. We met on OKC and texted for a couple weeks. I was working a lot at the time and was trying to fit him into my schedule. One night he calls me, which I found weird because we didn't talk on the phone up to that point, and I'm antisocial LMAO, and I text him and say sorry, I'm taking care of a sick friend. What's up? We text back and forth and I end up saying, yeah, I feel awful for getting him sick. That's why I'm hosting and taking care of him. I had the flu the week before. He flipped TF out. Called me a slut, a whore, went on for about 15-20 texts accusing me of everything under the sun and saying, how could you do this when I've been nothing but nice to you? Once he wore himself out, I responded something to the effect of, it was nice getting to know you but I'm going to pass on a date. Your reaction without asking questions is a huge red flag for me when we haven't even met yet. Best of luck to you. And for the record, my friend is gay, which I happily could have told you if you asked. I shirt you not, he texted me the next text demanding a date. When I said are you ducking kidding, he said go out with me so then you can say we've met. No thanks bud.